In Destiny, the ultimate show of force a guardian can unleash upon their foes that will instantly vacate their souls from their corporeal sphincter and send that bitch screaming Mach 8 into the ether is the ancient technique of the super. A move so devastating and lethal in its application that just the mere sound of its activation is enough to make even the most chuckled of nuts begin quaking in their boots. There are few things in this world more terrifying than hearing a Titan's fist roaring to life as they activate their inner ballistic missile fantasies, arcing across the sky with the mightiest of thunder crashes, or the chilling and haunting sound of a warlock annihilating the battlefield with the frigid chill of the winter's wrath, or the pants-shittingly, Cabal's shrinkingest of sights as someone rushes you with a shotgun because you just blade barraged into the fucking ceiling, you absolute donut. As a guardian, activating our super is a religious act, one where we make sure every condition is met before we use our most precious of battlefield attacks. The enemy density must be aligned, the damage buffs must be applied, and the timing needs to be perfect before each and every cast. But what if it was possible to take this zen-like concentrative state and ram its head into the dirt to ruin yet another aspect of Destiny for myself in my never-ending quest to become both the best and worst at Destiny? Well, that's right, baby. Today I dare to once again grab hold of these Destiny hemorrhoids I call challenges and give them a tug for your sick enjoyment. So grab your Rylee Reloaded issued bingo board and slowly wither away while you wait for your super to recharge. Takes so fucking long. Because today we're posing the question, can you beat the Witch Queen using only supers? To start this challenge off, your favorite Hot Wheels distributor is left with a moral dilemma, one that requires thinking and intelligence, but nah, we don't do that on this channel. What are you, a fucking nerd? But don't worry, there's hope yet. Just a few more challenge runs to push me over the edge and I'll finally have the courage to eat a Tide Pod and respec out of the anemic Destiny YouTuber build. In this run, I have a choice to make between my three godlike warriors. Luckily, I was able to collect the holy trinity that contains all the flavors of the Wonder Guardians within my roster. We have the dashing rogue, the unstoppable freight train, Bungie's favorite nipples to flick. Stop nerfing me, goddammit! At first glance, it would look like every super is within the palms of my hands. But if you've been keeping up with my challenge runs in your Rylee Reloaded lore, then you know that my guardians may have impressive feats under their belts, like being able to drink a McDonald's Sprite without fucking exploding. But each one of them, like your average Destiny player, was born with a mental deficiency. We have my hunter, who single-handedly bankrupted me by making me have to purchase all the fragments for Solar in the Can You Beat Beyond Light with only a powered melee run. Then we have the Titan from Can You Beat Destiny 2 without the light, who would blow turbo monkey ass in a run like this, considering she hasn't had any powers since the Red War. And I'm still coming to terms with her ankles folding like a lawn chair in the Cabal gun. And finally, here we arrived at my warlock, who has been molded into an absolute killing machine, forged in the diarrhea pits of these challenge runs, able to go toe-to-toe and dance with the Witch Queen on Legendary with only a damaged Traveler's Chosen, devastating the Kel Echo in Zolmok in Prophecy, and the Pit of Heresy using only white gear, solo flawless. Not only that, but he comes preloaded with a massive arsenal with every fragment and ability available to demolish the battlefield. The possibilities are truly limitless with a being of this sheer girth and magnitude, which is why the choice was obvious. That's right, baby, I deleted my hunter again. They may be thinking, the fuck Rylee? Even though we literally just watched him claw his ass out of the DCV during the melee only Beyond Light run, and it is 100% obvious that I should have picked my warlock, my thinking was that Titans have a lot of roaming supers, which would be great for dealing with the hordes of ads, and it would be fun to ship hands like I worked at a mannequin factory. Even though I have a Titan on my character roster, I can't delete her as the lightless work is not yet complete, and I can't delete my warlock to make space for a Titan, since he's been around since the literal dawn of Destiny, making my hunter once again the collateral damage. At this point, that hunter's gotta be one of the strongest fucking characters in the RCU, despite doing the least amount of challenges, because I keep sending his ass straight down to the crushing depths of the DCV, with the Red War and every seasonal ornament that I missed that still haunt me daily. The madman just keeps Kratosing himself out of there every time to put his head on the challenge run grindstones. But I then create another Titan so we can actually have some fucking power on my character roster, and pick the face shape that was giving me the most sexual tension, because one should never pass up on the opportunity to acquire massive mommy milkies. We then apply Rylee Reloaded Hot Wheels colors, as when donned in the wholly complementary color combination, the enemies of the darkness will instantly become sodden, equivalent to that of a champion stun, allowing me to slide in at impressive speed and give them the good old Fist of Havoc surprise colonoscopy. And with our decision made, and another hunter sent to the DCV without taking their gear off, I really gotta stop doing that shit. We were set to begin. Our super-only story begins with the giant golf ball in the sky of Mars revealing itself to to humanity. The moment in Destiny's history where Jeff Bezos and his Amazon employees won the billionaire space race and launched off in the cockpit to go investigate the giant orb.
Do you know what they call that?
A rocket.
They call it Blue Origin.
In hopes of putting it to work in an Amazon internment camp. I mean employment. I love this intro. It's iconic. Everything works together to truly make something special. The music, the mystery of giant warring paracausal forces, the fact that the double primary meta hasn't yet been willed into existence. All of it is immaculate. Afterwards, the now deceased speaker gives us a grim look at the past and what horrors are closing in around us. Horrors we now know are the witness and his naked callous bath time fetish. To which I say, sign me right the fuck up. I am risen from the dead by Nolan Bot, and upon loading in I collect a full set of armor from my vault to give me an edge in these starting areas. Being a newly risen titan and not maining this class means that my arsenal is nothing short of a wet shark, but with the stubbornness of a depressed goat I soldier on. I grab my Kvostov, and when the fallen jump in front of me, I make like a Rylee issued check and bounce. I run past all the fallen as the game slowly introduces each new power to me, practically screaming at me saying, "Use me, Chucklenuts," but with this challenge restrictions as they are, I commit to the ancient act of fucking off. When I enter this room, I'm hit with exactly the moment that I've been waiting for, kicking off this challenge run good and proper. I erupt into glorious arc light and immediately use this time to start clapping cheeks. I slap the shit out of the fallen in this room, and when I run out of the go-go juice, I decide to make a tactical runaway. Luckily, when I'm supposed to clear out the fallen in the yard for a mission step, I am given a gift from the Bungie gods that isn't a weapon being disabled this time. Much like the Guardian rank system Bungie wants to add into Lightfall, I was given the sweet gift of unpaid labor. A hunter by the name of Diamond was actively fighting the Fallen in this area, meaning I would not have to lay a single hand on them while my super recharged. Yes, kill for me, you beautiful bastard. I then get to meet Shawhan, who is always badass whenever he's behind the helmet, but the moment he takes it off, I'm overwhelmed by the fact that he looks both 22 and 12. I've always stated that Shawhan looks like he's a yee ass from Fortnite, but now since that's an actual collaboration, it's technically canon. Alongside Zavala, killing Ariana Grande with a Kamehameha, and then hitting the gritty, so fuck me, I guess. I'm then tasked with clearing out the Fallen next to a radar jammer. It is here where I'm given my first true taste of how this run was going to Watashi while kick me in the throat. Since my Titan isn't well specced out or geared, it takes about as long as a hunter finally letting go in order to get my energy built up. So I just take about a solid 5-minute breather to sit behind this pillar. This single moment really put into perspective how much of a fisting this run would actually be. One eternity later, I was finally freed from my unyielding boredom, and in a move that can only equate to releasing the most omega of nuts, I spark to life and finally end my blue ball frustration with holy arc light, splattering the Fallen all over the fucking gravel. I am then tasked with defending the jammer. In a move that definitely makes me look like I radiate masculinity, I heroically cower in fear behind the pillar while my super recharges. Luckily, the timer finishes, giving me enough time to shoo-wabba-lubba skedaddle. I then realize that I need some style in my life and gather the sex wagon and the universal Voyager from collections and paint them with the moistest of colors. I rocket towards Skywatch at the speed of me getting your mother's number, and I'm tasked with getting access codes, which require you to kill a servitor at each terminal in order to release them from their shields, meaning that I will have to wait for my super to recharge every single time. While waiting, I begin to think about ways I can improve this, because at this rate, I've been at this first mission for about half an hour, and I don't want to fucking pass away before I even finish the challenge. I came up with adding 2 dynamo mods into my helmet to gather some super back every time I place my barricade near an enemy, but having armor that is an honest and true fustercluck because I just took whatever shit I had in my vault and donned that bitch on me like an Eververse ornament meant that my barricade recharged at the blistering speeds of me uploading a video. I gather the other codes and then rocket off towards Skywatch in the Mario Kart Monday Sparrow. Inside, I run past the enemies in the dark hallway. Mama didn't raise no bitch, but if my mother saw me playing like this, she'd beat my ass. I then kill the wizard that iced Shawhan's friend, and since they were such scrub lords and died to a simple wizard, I give them the highest honor I can bestow upon a guardian who gets clapped by low-tier enemies. After the mission ends and I load into the open world space, I notice a new mission asking me to meditate for the Traveler. I enter a meditative trance thinking about how I can collect enough money to buy Savathun's bathwater, and upon the revelation of learning that I need to get my bread off by starting a Hot Wheels OnlyFans, the Traveler grants me a holy mission. I accept the task and load into the mission in third person nonetheless, and am asked to meditate once again. Honestly, this is really fucking cool. I love missions where we tap into the religious connection to the Traveler that we have. The Traveler even talks to us in this quest step saying, "You will find my light. You will clean my apartment of all this fucking goo. And you will end them!" Jesus fucking Christ, that's the most raw line from the Traveler I've seen. Just blindside me 180 out of nowhere. Throughout the game, you always hear that the light works in mysterious ways, but right here, it's saying fucking prank him, John. Such a raw line. This mission even has Death Stranding people being raptured in the fucking background. Honestly, this is a really fun mission that I wish there was more of. Let me interact with Sky Daddy more often. Thankfully, this mission had tons of wells of light that supercharged me, allowing me to complete it before I skeletized in real life. Soy Boy Shawhan then tells me that I have to complete the Guardian Rises mission. Don't you tell me what to do, goddammit! Anyways, I rush off to the Lost Sector to begin the mission. I started the Lost Sector at about 50 minutes in the recording, and when I finally got out, I was sitting at a solid 1 hour and 40 minutes. The wait time is honestly something that tested my mental fortitude. So much time has passed to clear out simple enemies that is honestly a kick in the nuts when you whip even a little bit of your super. Every missed sentinel shield is the equivalent of drinking out of a sewer. But after watching my precious life force leach out of my body for your sick enjoyment, I complete the Lost Sector. Then Shawhan tells me to go activate the array. But this being a game put together by Uncle Bungie, it glitches out while my ghost is busy diddling the console. I waited for a while, but nothing happens, and that's when I hit my mental limit at about 2 hours in on the first mission. Not of the Witch Queen, but the actual game. I had enough of this shit. It honestly sucks. This challenge is gonna blow harder than a clown at a balloon festival. There is no way around it. I'm going to need to pull out every stop in order to make this the least soul-crushing venture I've done. So prepare your bunghole to get the 180 Uno reverse, because Papa Rye is busting out revelations that should be illegal in this Thunderdome. I quit out of the mission and head back to the character selection, and thanks to my suffering over the past 2 hours, I send my Titan scream into the DCV with extreme prejudice. Yep, that's right, nuked her ass with my good doom facts and all. Honestly, I really had no reason to delete her afterwards, and I don't know why I keep doing that, just pulling the trigger. Rest in peace, young new light. May you forever hunt my boners. In one solid, spectacular play, I've managed to waste both your time and honestly a shit ton more of mine. I then make a decision I should have made in the beginning, and I choose to don the visage that is death incarnate by selecting my Warlock, equipping aspects that give me passive stat increases, and the Crown of Tempest, an exotic that increases the length of my Storm Trance super, as in this run, the more uptime on my supers I can have, the better. I head to the tower, and upon chatting with Raoul, I realize that this motherfucker right here has Glimmer for sale. Normally, I just get my ass blasted by Glimmer bankruptcy, adhering to the strict, it is what it is school of teaching. But I honestly had no idea this man was selling this shit. And finally, with the help of Master Raoul, I've been relieved of my destiny to poverty, and am able to just go buck wild with my spending habits. I grab a ton of upgrade modules, and pick up the remaining fragments for my Korra. I then took a trip down to the postmaster, and dear God, he's got a lot of umbrals. Man, I gotta clean this guy out more often. I swap my helmet to Void and equip 2 times the Dynamo once again to get super every time I pop my class ability near enemies. This is much better than using the Titan Barricade, as a healing rift doesn't damage enemies when they walk through them, freeing me up to be a bit more aggressive with the placement of my class ability. Paired with the fact that I can heal within my rift, means that I can slide deep behind enemy butt cheeks and place my rift basically inside of their colon. But finally, with us on the right path, and after a colossal amount of my life that I'll never get back wasted, it was finally time to return to the Witch Queen once again. Here we are at the Witch Queen. How many times have we done this song and dance? At this point, I should just change the name of the channel Different Ways to Violate Savathun's Privacy. This time, I decided that I was going to play on Classic because this challenge is going to be brutal on Legendary when I attempt it. And to start off, I need to get a baseline feel for what the campaign is going to be like. That's right, this is a precursor to what I can only assume will be the biggest, titty twistingest, dick slappingest, anal bleaching of a challenge I've done yet. Just this mission on Classic, which should take no longer than about 25 minutes, wound up taking an hour and 30. I rush into the first area with the Cabal and sit in a rift waiting for my super to recharge. I then sprint around like a sporadic 5-year-old in order to build my class ability thanks to the fragment on Arc 3.0 and use Dynamo to recharge my super every time. But this works well enough, allowing me to cut my super recharge rate in about half. 4 minutes later, I finally get to relieve my sexual tension and laser the ground, sending those Cabal screaming into the ether. But I swear that Bungie prepares these missions specifically to kick me in the throat, because they drop a wrench I have to pick up to advance, and grabbing it causes my super to disappear. And I activate the launcher, and for some reason, even though it's blatantly on in front of me, I don't think I can use it until I kill these Scions. So I waste more of my life I'll never get back by recharging my super, and when I'm ready, I fucking obliterate them in a show of force that is way too excessive and has to be a war crime. Geneva Conventions? More like Geneva Suggestions. And I launch myself towards the gun. On Classic mode, the enemies hit with the force of biting a Dorito vertically, meaning I just let them slap my ass silly while I relax by the terminal. An unyielding horde of enemies roll up and beat my ass like I owe them money, but Daddy Rylee lives for the pain, and just like in real life, simply deals with it. I try to keep myself alive while just sprinting around the room and slowly but surely building the percentage on the terminal hacking meter. Once it reaches 100, I leg it out of the gun. Then I cap off my previously collected super meter for the Cabal engineers. It runs out before he spawns, forcing me to continue to run around the Cabal's legs like the great Autismo and bury my rift into their colons once again. Yet again, Bungie throttles me by making me pick up heavy equipment that causes my super to instantly vanish like my hopes and dreams. Not only that, but I have to gather 2 wrenches, meaning a super regen in between each wrench. With that though, I am making it through this mission at an impressive pace, able to get to the part where you load the cores in only about 20 minutes. I think in this run that I've actually managed to become a pioneer of a new glitch within this game, a new tech that can be used in the most banger of speedruns. I've broken down Bungie at its core and left my blue and orange mark upon its code. Upon casting my super again in the engine bay of the gun, I noticed that my gun has vanished from my hands. I was thinking this was just a minor glitch, but it goes so much deeper than that. Effects that fully become realized once I enter the Ghosts mission. Right now, the only thing I figured out is that my weapon is missing. I then equip the Skull of Daira Hamkara to hopefully help with my uptime and then jump down the pipes. Bungie then decides to make me look like a true conspiracy theorist by making it when I hit the ground, barely any of my health leaves. You won't fool me, Bungie. I'm onto your deep state flat landing games. One-shot protection. You can't keep the truth locked up. I kill off both Cabal engineers and realize that the Skull of Daira Hamkara isn't very useful. I then run up to the Scions in the control room and slowly but surely rebuild my super on the other side of this grate, charging up to walk in and purple the entire room. But it's here that I discover yet another interesting effect of the glitch I've found. I've become immensely powerful and unlocked the ability to sniff my own ass. That's right, this glitch also, for some reason, this glitch also dislocates your body from your legs. Here where I spec into the mannequin leg skill tree and start equipping emotes because this glitch makes your legs do emotes while your torso stays stationary. God, this is the weirdest fucking thing I've seen all day. Is that a front flip, my guy? Well, I've got to cope with the fact that my legs are capable of soloing Savathun on their own if they wanted to, but the only way I found around this is to die, believe it or not. This isn't even the most powerful ability these legs have unlocked. It goes even deeper than this. I storm my way through the rest of the ship, clearing encounters at a snail's pace, and finally we arrive at the first Hive Guardian. I slide right up to his nuts and plan a rift at them, at both left and right, until my super is ready. This battle is a battle of super v super, light versus light, mental disability versus Bungie AI. I show the Hive in this encounter why you don't mess with Papa Rai when he's on a Destiny challenge run, and for my act of sheer might, Savathun then invites me into her throne world. The nicest thing a female has ever done for me. Savathun made a mistake because I've got a sickness for the thickness, and I was coming for her at impressively slow speeds. She then asks me how I did it, how I found the strength to kill something so much like myself. But this is Rylee Reloaded, where the only thing keeping us alive is masochism. So I plant her like a fucking sapling, and for my transgressions, she says, "Think fast, chuckle nuts," and teleports me away, simultaneously giving me a restraining order. Damn it, a restraining order. First Elsie Bray, now Savathun. With my options now severely limited, I beat the rival using only supers after 1 hour and 20 minutes. I've always said that the investigation is one of my favorite missions in these challenge runs because it's short enough to not make me feel inadequate. No matter what brain-dead thing I've subjected myself to this time, a brief break before Bungie cranks up the missions to 11 and sucker punches me right in the kidneys. The Communion isn't afraid to bend you over and take you down to Flavortown. This mission is so relaxing that in the first 8 minutes of this recording are just me sitting, sipping wine like I was a Cabal Emperor, while I wait for the Traveler to beam godlike power into my ribcage and let me go Palpatine on their asses. Once I've been pull started like an old generator, it was time to vaporize the Hive. I have more than enough super to defeat the Hive Guardian at the front and all the remaining Hive as well. I'm then left to wait for it to recharge while these knights chase me around. I use my rift in the fragment that charges it when I run to lower my time immensely. This challenge has got to be the most painful for me. As a Warlock main, one of the main things we love doing is slinging off our abilities left and right. We align so many buffs and stacks that you'd swear we were a bodybuilder working at a bank. So having to sit down and relax while only one ability is activating triggers something fucking primal inside of me, and I start to get real antsy. Forces me to fidget with my fingers. I kill the knights and then move to the gate that you have to lower on the hottest whip this side of the throne world. In another move to disappoint my parents, I sprint around the gate mechanism while thralls give me a surprise vasectomy. Thankfully, I'm like Goku and went Ultra Instinct by utilizing the oldest trick in the book. Who would win? An ancient race of species-ending paracausal beings, or one speedy boy? I then flee in unrelenting masculinity on the Scooty Puff Jr. The game then gives me a banner that allows me to go sicko mode instantly. Once the super runs out, it's back to standing around while I wait to recharge. I finally gather up enough energy to top it off with my rift and begin decimating the battlefield. My secret sauce runs out before I'm able to kill the wizards, and I'm once again met with my gun disappearing, but thankfully my legs haven't gained free will and are still working with me. I continue to run around to build class energy, and after about 4 minutes, I'm ready to discharge. Discharge all over the face. The wizard is healed up, but that's no match for Rylee when he's got the Zenkai boost, and I snap the wizard's ghost within my fingertips. Then this asshole who managed to survive my assault clowns on me by holding me from going forward until I've transmogged him into a headstone. I finally gather my power, send him to fucking God, and move on to talk with Finch. I love how his guardian is just Yamcha'd in the background. I hope once we make nice, he has risen from the dead and we become good friends. I then beat the investigation with only supers in 30 minutes. We then move on to the mission that is either a well-paced mission with good encounters and not too much difficulty, or it is a colossal kick in the nuts. This time, with me having to recharge my super every time, I am met with the latter. Clearing the first section takes me only 5 minutes until I get the upper hand by crushing the ghost of the wizard, and then making Zeus proud by turning the rest of them into chemtrails. In the tunnels I am met with 2 pustules I can't get past without going supernova, and seeing as I have no super, I'm left to wait until I'm charged. That's right, this means that in these dark sections I'm running blind. I spark up and vaporize the wall scrotums and try to kill off the light bearer with my remaining super, but sadly, I'm just off the mark. I'm then beaten mercilessly by a pack of thralls, but I'm a greasy boy and they couldn't hold on to me for long. I pass through and actually almost die multiple times in this room. Trying to avoid the thralls while a hive guardian is pelting me in the cranium with super blades is almost a death sentence every time. But sentences are a part of reading, and reading is for fucking nerds. I survive long enough to get my powers back, and in glorious fashion I kill everything inside. Fighting a Scorn Walker. It's extremely satisfying to drop a super onto its legs with landfall, then start buzzing around its head like I'm that one fly that flew into your car with the sole purpose of banging its head on some windows and fucking dying. I kill the walker, use only 2 supers to clear the crystal encounter at the top, and descend down the well. Keep in mind that I'm cutting hours of footage from these runs of just me sprinting in circles trying to get my rift back so I can kill a single enemy. Inside of this well where the Scorn are dug in deep is where I discover yet another part to the glitch of the sentient legs. A glitch that will later come to bite me in the assenhole. This glitch makes it so that you do not regenerate your health in a rift when you pop it. It also has the side effect of making it so burn from grenades can't even tickle your feet. It seems to be something you can activate by using an unholy amount of supers in one mission, but only on the Arc subclass. Bungie said, "Don't you worry guys, we're gonna fix the resilience bug in no time," and then decided that my legs needed to be fucking sentient and that my body should no longer exist after 5 supercasts. "You don't understand, Mr. Reloaded," the Bungie programmer proclaimed. "Your body can't contain that much raw fucking energy. Therefore, we simply took the body away." To which I say, "Who are you? How the hell you get in my room?" This glitch isn't that bad until I find myself in the boss room. That's right, this glitch is like an onion. It's got layers. Not only does it make my legs make like a banana and split from my torso, not only does it make my gun vanish and grant me the power of immortality from grenades and fire effects. No, not only does it also make my healing rift not do the one thing it's useful for, it also gives me a massive speed debuff when in super. It messes with the movement, and when trying to use your blink, you get this wet shard of a poof that takes you nowhere near the right direction you wanted. It also appears to make your super exotics that extend the length of your super do nothing. But hey, I can sniff my own ass, so that instantly makes up for it. Best glitch in gaming. There's something odd about being able to just stand in these pits of fire that make me feel like a demigod. In my head I look like Doom Guy, but outside of it I know I look like a Destiny player, meaning I haven't seen the sun in days. Please, send vitamin D. Despite that glitch and spending about an hour and a half of my life in the boss room with this mission, just trying to build my super meter and almost falling into clinical depression every time my super fizzles out way sooner than I want it to, I finally managed to spark to life once more, and with arc energy twisting around my hands as I conduct a beautiful symphony of death-dealing voltage directly into the giant Scorn's withered vessel, I beat the ghosts after 2.5 hours, using only supers. We then gather Sagira as the mysteries only deepen, and we move on to the communion. This mission is where Rylee unsmooths his fucking brain. That's right, we put folds in that bitch. I came up with a build so crafty and elegant that it is enough to make Error cry. But I do that much later. The beginning of this mission is an absolute tedious slog. I get my ass beat left and right. It's mostly a battle of endurance as they decide to send every cabal and their mother after you in the opening. Before we dive in though, I realize that I've been running Gambit Jadestone this entire time, which is a fucking sin on this channel. I then don the trademark Hot Wheels blue and orange. I swear, I've got to be the only fucking guardian that wears this shit. No one else wears these colors out in the wild, and if they do, it's like spotting a unicorn. On a side note though, I've seen Cosmic and the awesome robot wearing my colors just out in the wild, and it's gotta be the most heartwarming shit to me. Supporting your boy as these brave guardians show everyone that they are also the CEOs of sex appeal. Everyone knows that simply putting on these colors instantly puts some fucking hair on your chest and raises your KD by a solid 4. And with our gear finally in top shape, it was time to take down the Cabal. This battle took forever as there are so many ads. Instead of using an ad clearing super, for some reason I decided decided to use fucking Nova Bomb. Gotta be kidding me, Rylee. This has to be the worst super for ad clear. You'd get better ad clear out of hitting them with a steel chair than using this. I honestly think the reason I left this super on was because I was trying to avoid the Arc Warlock bug, because it just feels so gross to play when it procs. I can't explain it, but it felt like I needed a bath after having that touch my eyeballs. But then after ages of fighting and waiting, I decided to try a different build. I think that if I can use the stag, it'll let me get my rift back quicker whenever I get into critical condition, allowing me to use Dynamo and give me more uptime on my supers. I jump into the Horde of Cabal and pop my rift, waiting for my health to lower enough to activate the nearly departed perk. I'm extremely confident, thinking, you can't hurt me, this is classic mode, you fucking ninnies, and then this happens! Holy fuck, did you see how hard that hit me? Jesus Christ, hit me with the force of a freight train. That has gotta be the strongest Cabal in the whole army. Cracked my head on the pavement at Mach 8. I was at this for so long. Why? Tell me why. Always something like this happens in the communion. Always in the opening section. I then equip Eyes of Another World to make my rift regen quicker, and when paired with the aspect that allows your rift to recharge while sprinting, I'm already seeing an improvement in my uptime. I managed to pop my super, killing most of the Cabal, and then I'm met with yet another kick in the nuts, as this asshole who was hiding the entire time just mocks me by sprinting away every time I go to place my rift, the only enemy I gotta kill to move on. He even stopped briefly for a moment to hit me with that dollar store psionic pulse blast. I take a minute to hide out of his nerf bullets and actually come up with a brilliant idea. I remember that in the Arc Soul run, Zeno was using an energy transfer sword to continuously pop rifts every couple seconds. Taking a look at my vault, I realized that I have tons of bequests from when I grinded 37 runs of Deep Stone Crypt to get Eyes of Tomorrow, 2 of which come preloaded with energy transfer. This perk allowing me to tap into my inner BDSM by letting enemies pelt on me, simultaneously recharging my class ability. This instantly stepped up my game, cranking Rylee to 11. It was yet again like Goku taking off his weighted gi, or Rock Lee removing the weights. Papa Rai was turbocharged now and was ready to steam some ham like it was meat madness at the cookhouse. This sword generated class energy at a rate so fast, this turned from a waiting game into, come on, beat my ass. Do it! The recharge rate on my super was now extremely quick, allowing me to blow through encounter after encounter. I even figured out that I should pair this with the stag in order to not get iced while I'm standing there getting blasted from all sides. This is one of my finer moments. A moment where I tapped into the inner spiritual side of Destiny Buildcraft and aligned the fucking chakras. The devastation I unleashed upon the Cabal in that pyramid was immense. While they were fighting me thinking they had the upper hand, they had no idea that they were simultaneously charging my batteries. I was like the anime villain that allows himself to get his ass absolutely handed to him and then says, you're pretty good, my turn, and unleashes the whooshie fingering combo so extreme it separates the protagonist's very atoms from their body. I mean, just look at this shit. Holy shit, this is mental. But goddamn, that finale! It was then basically a rinse and repeat. I switched to Chaos Reach for the style points and gave Valis Draugr the most disrespectful of fadings. It was beautiful. I then take a moment to commune with the darkness, who beams sick demented images into my head, and with the new super meta technique in hand, it was time to take on the mirror. I can really tell that now I'm picking up speed, whereas the last missions took hours to complete. This one only took me 22 minutes in total. Even though the mirror is another brief moment of peace for me before the harder missions pick up, I can still tell that this was easier now. I allow the scorn to beat on me until I erupt into energy from the void and vaporize them all. I'm then met with an atrocity when I go to blow up the darkness diamond above. My super looked like it didn't hurt it, but it ran out before I could be sure, so I headed off to find some enemies. Sadly, the swamp was as barren as my social life, but I knew that enemies had to spawn in the lost sectors. On the way, I accidentally sent the Hot Wheels Hot Rod down into the abyss in order to save myself, committing yet another act of heresy by condemning him to the pit like Mario would to a Yoshi. I gather my super from the enemies in the lost sector and headed back to the diamond. I tried to get it to explode with a whole super, but sadly, just like the Arc Soul Only video, it will not hurt it. You're telling me bullets will hurt this, but the literal energy from outside of reality itself, the force of a collapsing star swirling around me, is enough to break it. But some good old-fashioned lead would. I swear to God, if you tell me, well, Rylee, it's cause they're paracausal bullets, I'm gonna eat the Tide Pod, I'ma fucking do it. Forgive me, my friends, for I have failed the challenge here. But we do not admit defeat in the face of adversity. We are guardians of the last city and rise to any occasion. There will always be more problems, more situations to face. We must think of alternative methods and strategically place ourselves beyond our limits, which is why I'm private bribing you. Look the other way. We move on to the Scorn tunnels. It goes much the same way, with me engaging in masochistic delights while they rev me up by beating my ass senseless. We then arrive at the boss. So many times this fight has taken me down, given me no quarter in my time of need. I am prepared for anything. I fly into the air and throw off a Nova Bomb. I then run up and use the light pillars to recharge my super once again. I dive down, throw another Nova Bomb, and as the boss explodes in one go, I stand there, confused. Honestly, was geared up for a much larger fight here. You can see me questioning reality. In classic mode for some reason, Bungie also thinks that people who played on classic are Weenie Hut Jr.'s gamers because they made Deep Sight auto-activate. I have no idea if this is a glitch or not, but throughout my entire time in this campaign, I haven't had to activate a single Deep Sight node. This actually becomes a hindrance in this mission when trying to activate the symbols because it makes them disappear for some reason. I finally managed to match the symbol in time in between Deep Sights and enter Savathun's Altar of Reflection. We then find out that Savathun is packing more cake than a bakery. I take a breather on Tiny Osiris's shoulder, which he doesn't like, and leaves and drops me on the fucking floor, and I beat the mirror using only supers. The Cunning has got to have one of my favorite scenes in the Witch Queen campaign. This huge descent into her old temple with impressive backdrops and vistas. Bungie's art team are masters of their craft, a craft in which I would have appreciated a lot more if I didn't have to wait 8 minutes staring at some testicles on the wall before I was allowed to enter. Something about the way they slurp and slop as I sit there is just off-putting. I once again use masochism to clear my way across the cliff face, the bridge, and get my ass beat by some abominations until I can nuke them into orbit. When the Scorn boss arrives, I jump into the air and laser him into an immunity phase almost immediately. I clear out the Scorn using the same technique and enter the Ahamkara encounter. He blasts me with a blinding light, which is enough to burn a permanent hole into my retinas this late at night while I'm doing this challenge, but luckily enough, the Ahamkara actually procs Dynamo, meaning I can use it to get my laser back much quicker. I was expecting this fight to take a lot longer. I jump into the air and hit it when it's mid-spew to match with my activation time. Then it's a simple rinse and repeat after mercy killing the ads that spawn in. But you see, I made a grave error during this fight. Remember the glitch I talked about previously? Well, I was at my 5 super limit and Bungie came to revoke my super pass. Well, apparently, this glitch also makes it so your sword sometimes activates in first person and doesn't allow you to hold your guard up, causing it to flip the fuck out. With that though, I managed to kill the last remaining ad and begin the final DPS phase of the Ahamkara. I go to get my sword out, but oh no! I'm in first person and my sword isn't working. I struggle to get my sword working, but nothing is happening. I put up a good fight and can only get it to proc every now and then, but it proves no match for the glitch. I'll once again repeat the fight. I glitch out again, but manage to kill the Ahamkara in the final ads in time to get the privilege of having this white screen blind me and damage my optic nerves. While trying to make my getaway, I'm once again hit with something completely unexpected. You tell me that you saw this coming in a million years, and there's no way I'd believe you. I jump on the pike to make my getaway, and the glitch puts my camera inside the bike. I can't tell which way I'm going. Mama! Thankfully, respawning puts all my parts back where they need to be, and I carefully avoid damaging any of the Scorn with the bike to not invalidate the run. I make it past, jump over the heads of the ones guarding the elevator, and after a solid hour of fighting, I managed to beat the Cunning with only supers. I remember the last chance being a brutal mission for me. Almost every time I've ran through here, it has been nothing short of a nightmare. The Damaged Traveler's Chosen run and the White Gear run made me learn to fear the bridge section near the tower, as you can get folded like an omelet damn quick. However, I'm on classic mode and I've actually learned a viable strategy for this super only run. I decided that in this mission, I would go with stasis, as I've tried every other flavor of power until this point, besides solar, as one super only buffs weapon damage, which I believe would invalidate the run, and the other, well, the other.
You serious?
Stasis slapped this mission around hard. Ice flare bolts are immensely powerful, and I went rocketing through this mission with only a couple of moments where things were tense. I managed to clear the Hive Guardian before the bridge at impressive speeds as well, and with the energy transfer to charge me up and the add clear potential of stasis, nothing stood in my way. I was an augur of death, hoping that this is as nice for you as it is for me. Normally by the time I'm here, your boy is broken and doesn't know how many more it is what it is he got left in him. But this time, I'm standing here like a god of death. I clear the bridge, gather the sword, and clean the gunk off both mechanisms at a breakneck pace. I ignore most of the smaller enemies once my super is recharged and use it to only kill the boss wizard in the middle, causing the rest of the enemies to once again despawn. I then charge up the tower to once again unleash an unyielding torrent of entropy upon the final boss. Rooms are falling at my feet, as the pale visage of the blue and orange demon is the last thing these Hive will ever see. I bring death in new ways, and when I finally enter the boss room, this quickly becomes a waiting game, as she charges my super super with rapid attacks, and once I'm fully charged, I hit her with the force of knowing you'll never be enough, sending her ghost spiraling into the ether and beating the last chance using only supers. In these challenge runs, there's something about finally overcoming overwhelming odds that gets me all sentimental when I'm nearing the end of my journey. Funnily enough, it always happens at the Sparrow ride up to Savathûn as well. Even while I hit the NOS on my bumper car to go show Savathûn what real light can do, I take a moment of reflection. The world can be a cruel and unforgiving place, and has kicked me around more times than I care to count. Damn near had me begging for change that I didn't feel would ever come. Sometimes, when the walls close in around you, it may feel as though the only thing holding you together is that there may be hope buried somewhere in a brighter tomorrow, as though you're just existing for the sake of continuing to exist. Now, even though I may be known for being the best Walmart Jesus, who distributes Hot Wheels colors at a deathly rate, it would bring this blue and orange parking lot messiah nothing but joy to know that these videos provide you a brief moment of respite and peace before you return to your own battles, and that the lessons we've learned together through this journey of never giving up and doing our best are something you carry with you throughout your toughest moments. Just like in these challenge runs, it's only when we take our failures into ourselves do we learn from those mistakes and trials that would mold you into the person that stands before me today. And my God, just look at you, a being of sheer, unyielding will. I hope that when the darkness closes in around you, and while the crushing torrent slams against your barricades, you stand tall in the face of adversity, knowing damn well that blue and orange has its heart at the ready, standing with you, ready to weather any storm, any foe. My soldiers don't retreat in the face of danger. My soldiers don't lie down and accept defeat. My soldiers rage. And Savathûn, we're coming for you. I clear out the scorn and hive assaulting the door, and am greeted by the most mysterious and misunderstood species in the Destiny franchise. Ha! A woman! Who then kamehamehas the door, allowing your boy to slippery slide his ass inside. I race my way to the first encounter, sending every enemy on the express bus to hell with righteous stasis fury. One acolyte manages to survive my onslaught and casually pelts me in the head. I try to regain my super off him, but he hits with the force of Elsie Bray not texting me back, meaning that it hurts, but I'll be alright. I spend more of my life here waiting for it to respawn, and once I'm recharged, I violate the Geneva Conventions once again. I enter the section with the crystal shielded wizard and waste no time thinking about builds. I think my life needs some added spice and switch from my godly stasis build back to my Arc Warlock. The ogre on the second floor, when paired with the Shrieker, activates my torture fetish well enough to get my super back. I annihilate all the hive on the top. Forget which door was the one I have to go through. On the third floor, the game was gracious enough to give me 2 wizards and a Shrieker. This recharges me faster than an exotic dropping at the other side of the room. I may make this whole team wipe, but you bet your ass I'm getting that goddamn yellow good numbnuts. I then dunk the final orb and shatter the crystals. I then show the hive wizard the power of plot armor and return its ghost unto the light. Savathûn tells me that this place is indistinguishable from her own mind. If her throne world is this magical and nice looking, and she's a demented centuries-old species genocider, I can only imagine what my guardians look like. I'd like to imagine it was full of power-colored GPUs, all shitting the bed harmoniously synchronized. Also says that she keeps and counts every bullet fired, even though I haven't sent out a single shot yet. She can count the atoms of her dead followers as I punch their ticket. I ascend below the bell to begin my final showdown with the Witch Queen, in a true fight of light versus light. Not a single bullet has been fired throughout this entire challenge, and here we are. I decide to throw Nova Bombs, as it is a mean burst hit, and every time I lob one off, it feels like I just hit her with pure explosive power. Savathûn retreats, and she tries to persuade my ghost to join her side. But my ghost isn't easily swayed like I am. All Savathûn would need to do to get me on her side would be to bust out a legendary god roll or a half-decent looking pair of pants, and I'll fucking solo the Vanguard. Starting with Shah Han. We rush at Savathûn, deal enough damage to bring out her shades, stand licking at their toes while they slowly but surely power me up. This takes so long and I gotta kill 3 of them. I allow them to beat my ass, switch to Arc, and begin disrupting the ritual. This part has me switching to Chaos Reach because the wizards simply ignore my presence, which hurts more than the fucking lightning Savathûn was dropping on my cranium. It honestly triggers something inside of me that drives me crazy and I just can't explain it. Destiny has forever altered my brain to need instant happy chemicals that standing and waiting for my super to recharge damn near makes me go I then equip Eyes of Another World to regen my class ability faster, allowing me to proc Dynamo. This barely helps and I still waste about 20 minutes in these towers, just waiting on cooldowns. But once I'm charged up, the feeling feels great. I then show Savathûn that the Traveler was coming to be her homie, but the witness said, "Gotcha, bitch," forcing her into indentured servitude. The tale of the Hive is a tragic one, being forced to fight and kill just to sustain their own life, honing their blades in the act of genocide and securing their place in the universe. I do not fear you, but I certainly do not envy you. We finally arrive at the final round with the Witch Queen. I gather 2 Threadcutter wizards, allowing me to infinitely hold on to it. While this may limit the DPS, it allows me to stand here like an absolute fucking unit and just tank hundreds of bullets from all angles while simultaneously gaining power. Is this what the average Titan main feels? The pure, unbridled power of speccing into resilience. At this point, I've been fighting for about 40 minutes straight and finally had Savathun on the ropes. And then, my strategy that had no problem throughout the entire run this time just suddenly shits the bed and my body just decides I've had enough and fucking expires. 40 minutes later, I return to the exact same spot and begin charging up for my final attack. I run around the side like I was an anime protagonist, dodging attacks, and when I go to throw a Nova Bomb, I get fucked by the tracking as she casually moves to the left and dodges it, and in just my luck, it winds up absolutely obliterating the last Threadcutter wizards, proccing ×3 and starting the timer for it to run out, meaning I gotta try build my super before this completely expires. I fail at this and have to re-kill the wizards. I take them out and return to unleash my final attack. That's right, Savathu, this time you won't escape me. Your end has arrived. My light is here to put an end to your games and deception. Your final end. I stopped screaming in this apartment. People are gonna kick me out. In her dying breath, Savathun tells me I miscalculated and that the game is now mine to play. In the end, my light proves stronger, and I realize that my guardian sounds oddly like Buzz Lightyear.
She's dead.
And as the traveler returns to the last city, as its only hope of survival now lies within the cradle of humanity, I beat the Witch Queen using only supers. Thank you everyone for watching and sticking with me while I put out these giant videos. They are great to make and I hope that you enjoyed yourself. If you'd like to join our community, there will be a link to the Discord in the description below. A lot of people like to clown on me because I say, hey, I'll put a link in the description below and then just forget. It's like, where's my link, Rylee? Where's my goddamn link? And I'm also on Twitch if you'd like to relax with your boy and play some games. I'm gonna make an effort to be more present on it, so give it a follow and you'll catch me eventually. I'd also like to thank everyone on Patreon who supports me while I create this stuff because I can't understate how much you guys have done for me, getting me closer and closer to the goal of being able to create stuff for you full time, which is something I feel in my bones I have to do. Something within my core. Huge thanks to NT Pin Hero, Cosmic, link below, wink wink, Arliss McGuire, Zarin King, an absolute madman, Sensei Smulls, Mordaunt, T7 Code 99, IB Stevie, Jonathan Blaylock, Cozy from the Discord, Kenneth, Eamon Smith, it hasn't been a month yet, but Lamotion, Rylee Sheldon, but Rylee is spelt inferior, J-Lack, Boston, Azure Knight, Lone Ranger 2412, Capone, where's your fuck you money? Tekka Sovan, who won the drip contest all those years ago, Dank Devastation, your lightless provider, Zerx 14A, Max Copeland, Canadian Syrup, X9, 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 you bastard, Ben the Unit Stanfill, Kate, XD 7228, Kari Simpson, Caleb Warman, Kevin Noda, Fish, Ban Me, your boy Gamer Weenus, Nathan Dasiuk, Delegator Valkeen, I swear I'll get to it, I swear, Thrumond and Dragon Waffle, take your damn money back, Hot Wheels Enthusiast, Kefnet the Useless, Nathaniel Farmer, CO Camo 3, Crimbo the Undying, Madeline Celestia, Bogos Binted, Super Steven the very same, Mondo 117, James Escalante, Samarchi Descopper, Nand, Xavier Human, and Fufu Akio. With your guys' help, your boy can afford a sandwich at lunch, and not worry he won't be able to pay rent. And for that, I couldn't thank you enough. Finally, here's a video of Misty as a loaf. Misty loaf. I've been your Hot Wheels distributor, Rylee. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.